Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to edit a portrait photo using the hide and seek collection in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so I have this portrait of a young girl right here, and it's a very good portrait. Still could be considered sort of a snapshot because it has minimal editing, basically straight out of camera. There's a little bit of contrast. It looks like that was added. But other than that, there's really not much going on. And so I want to really enhance this. I want to make it look like a very, very great portrait. And one of the collections that Sleeklens has is called the Hide and Seek collection. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up here in Window, Actions. And you can see hide and seek right here. And I'm just going to expand that. And I have a whole bunch of things that I can do to this image. There's really thousands and thousands of combinations that you can do with this. And so the first thing I'm going to do is really do some basic touch-up of this model here. So I'm going to do a skin smoothing. So I'm going to click on this natural skin soften here, and I'm going to click the play button and make sure my background layer is highlighted. Click the play button. All right, so what that does is it applies a whole bunch of filters, but it applies a adjustment layer, and this adjustment layer is actually black, or this layer mask is actually black. And so what you do with the black layer mask is paint with a white brush over the area that you want to affect. And so in this particular photo, I'm affecting the skin. So I'm just going to minimize this real quick. And I have a white brush. I have a regular white brush. The hardness is down to 0. This will allow for a little bit of forgiveness for edges. So I'm just going to size this down. I'm going to start painting over. And you can sort of see it's a very subtle effect, but it works really, really well. You don't want it to come out like a doll, the image to look, the skin to look very doll-like. You want it to be more realistic, and that's what this is doing here. It's applying a realistic blurring effect to the skin and softening it up a little bit so it's not as sharp and contrasty and detailed. So I'm just going to highlight a bunch of this area here, just going to quickly paint over this, just to soften some of it up, just most of the skin that is showing, just right there. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm not going to worry about the arms or the hands, but I'm just going to do a quick view of the skin just to make sure I got all the areas that I want to get. All right, looks like I got them there. And just with that one action applied, we can see the difference. You can see there's a lot of lines that are showing up in the face there, and I'm going to click it on, and now those have kind of been pushed back a little bit. They're not as detailed, and so that is the skin softening effect in the hide and seek preset. So I'm going to go back and I open those up, and now I'm going to do a what's called a snow teeth action here. I'm going to click that, make sure my background layer is applied, and click the play button. And you can see that kind of does the same thing. It gives me a black adjustment layer. So I'm going to scroll right into the teeth here. And again, I have a white brush selected. My hardness is down to 0 here. And all I'm going to do is paint over the teeth. And that's going to whiten the teeth up a little bit. And so I'm going to do a quick paint job over here, making sure I get as much as I can. Just like that. So when we zoom out, you can see the teeth are really, really white. Now, if the teeth are more white than what you want, which in this particular case they are, that's why you can back down the opacity of that layer to sort of blend it in a little bit more. I'm going to go down to 25% on this particular image. So this is the before, and this is the after here for the teeth. And so the next one I'm going to do, just for the basic touch-upping, is actually the lips. I'm going to apply some glossy lips here. So I'm going to click on the glossy lips action, click the background layer, make sure that's selected, and click play. And that's going to give me a dialog box that says, if the paint over the lips with a white brush at 100% opacity, reduce the opacity to keep it subtle. So I'm going to click OK here. All right, and what that does is it puts a base retouch layer up here at the top. And this is the same exact as we've been doing before. We have a black adjustment layer, and now we can go into the lips with a white brush, same white brush we've been using, and we can just paint over the lips, and that gives a little bit of a glossy effect to the lips. And I'm just going to quickly go over these real quick. Just like this. All right, and definitely when you do this on your photos, you're probably going to spend a little bit more time than I'm doing. But I'm just going to try to get as much as I can covered here. All right, so there we go. So now when we zoom out, we can see we have a little bit of a glossy lip effect here. But you can, if you want to decrease that a little bit, make it blend in a little bit more, back down the opacity just like we have done on the other layers here. So there we go. So now we have our face retouching done. So now we're going to do a little bit of main retouching to the image. And so I'm going to go down here to the bottom section here, and I'm going to go down to kind of a base. I'm going to do a vivid base preset, or a vivid base action. I'm going to click on the background layer, click play. And what that does, it just kind of it sharpens up a little bit. It gives me a better contrast, makes a little bit of the colors pop a little bit, and it definitely looks a lot more contrasting, a little bit less flat, which actually helps the model out a little bit more. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply an all-in-one tone and tint action here, and I'm going to click the gray dust. So I'm going to make sure the background layer is selected once more, click the play button, and that applies a little bit of a kind of a bluish, kind of what I would consider like a blueberry color in the background. Still keeps the contrast from the previous selection, but it blends in really great with the tones, and they match really well. And so the last thing I'm going to do, and this is something that could technically be done with the retouching, is I'm going to sharpen the hair up a little bit. I want that to be a little bit more sharp than it is. It seems like the focus was definitely on the model's face, which it should be, but I want the hair to be a little more sharpened too as well. I'm going to scroll down here to the portrait retouch tools, and I'm going to click on sharpen, make sure the background layer is selected, and click play. All right, so it does, just as the same actions before, it gives you a black layer mask. So I'm going to go with my white brush and paint in over the hair, and it's probably not going to show up as much as on a video here, but definitely on the image it's sharpening the hair up just enough to where it doesn't look fake, but I'm just going to sharpen that up real quick, just like that. And there we go. All right, so that is our final retouched image with the model's face as well as the surrounding image. So I'm going to go ahead and group these all together, and now you can see the before and after. So this was the before. Decent image. It's definitely considered I would consider a snapshot, a well done snapshot, but definitely a snapshot. And now I'm going to click on the adjustments that we've made, and there we go. We got the skin softened, we got the model's teeth whitened, the lip gloss there, skin softened down here as well on the shoulder, hair sharpened, and a very cool tone and tint around here. So it looks really great. It looks really cool effects. So those effects were done very quickly, but as me walking you through these effects did take a little bit longer. But actually editing this photo before only took about 45 seconds, and I had a great photo. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little tutorial on how to use the hide and seek collection in Adobe Photoshop. This is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.